Again, happy Wednesday, March 23rd. Hope you're all doing well. Great, Carrie. Good to see you. Good to see you. Alan, haven't seen you in a while. A lot of familiar faces here. Fantastic. All right, so I'll go ahead and just get started here in just a second. I was just waiting on, looking for something here in my computer. Doesn't seem to want to work right now, which that's fine. Okay. Anyway, so we talked a couple of weeks ago. We knew we were probably getting close to a bottom of the market, right? We knew we had this price level here that it kept coming down and holding support here, which is, again, very important. We knew that we had seasonality that was typically getting ready to reverse direction, right? So this February fall is very normal, partly into March. There's always a reason for it, but it always happens. And then we had a nice trigger long here on March 17th to the upside. There's always more risk. This is the S&P, folks. There's always more risk, obviously, when you're fighting a downtrend like this. In many cases, if you want to play it safer, what can you do? Well, you can ignore this first trigger, let it retrace. When you get the higher low here in the near future, that could be your entry point. Okay. You're always going to get pullbacks in the markets in every direction. So you don't have to worry about never having an opportunity, right? So, looking at seasonality and everything else that's going on right now, I suspect will continue higher. Interesting enough, so on the weekly, looking at the Hackenacci here, last week was an indecision, right? We had 1, 2, 3 wicks in a row here, all those buyers coming in. And then this week's weekly candle, we have a flat bottom, which is very bullish at this point, right? Granted, we're halfway through the week. So doesn't mean every day is going to be up, obviously. Even today's Hackenacci candle, though, as you can see here, has a flat bottom. So if you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is the 6th one. Okay. And again, it doesn't at all mean that every day is going to go higher, but it means there's still real good bullish activity out there. So my assumption is that we're going to continue higher and hit new highs. At some point here. Let me just bring this in. Right, so we hit a high here in January, early January. In fact, my son's birthday, I have to tell him that. And before we know it, we'll come and retest those highs, okay? What about the Dow? Dow's down 350 today, so the earth is falling. I did a futures play on this and I took profits above here today only because when I started seeing 3 wicks not quite hitting my profit target, I start to want to eliminate my risk. So on this long play that I did, I'm still in the trade with a break-even stop here. So really what it would look like here, a break-even stop, but half of my trade, I got out basically at the white open here, okay? So hopefully it can kind of consolidate here now before the leg up without stopping me out. But again, nice profitable trade. Had the trigger back here, continue to have these flat bottoms on the Dow. The NASDAQ, same thing, right? So everything's been in alignment. Again, you can see the weekly Hackenacci candle, very bullish. Very, very bullish. Let's look at Mr. Vicks or Mrs. Vicks, depending on how you look at it. So flat top, flat top, flat top, flat top, flat top, flat top. You get the point, right? So, you know, the VIX, the seasonal indicator hit it perfectly in this case. Knew we were at a top back here. Then we got our sell triggers right here, and that was just a beautiful trade. Okay, again, you can't trade the VIX, but you can trade the options of the VIX though, or other symbols, right? But very, very predictable move, folks. And that's really what I want to show you. That's why I still hold these live events, is to show you the confidence in some of these. So, you know, I'm not just going short until I get triggers, but again, and I'm still short and not option plays on the VIX because I don't have a green dot, okay? Once we get back down to this baseline, which we're getting close, I'll probably close my position and then look for the next spike. But the VIX is acting normally like it should. And what about crude? What do you think on crude, folks? Yeah, that certainly looks to me that we're heading back to test those highs, right? We've got the Laguerre trigger. Okay, we've got the weekly. Green Hackenacci on the weekly with seasonal to the upside. Cloud has changed, stayed green the entire time. Right, just be careful. A lot of volatility on crude right now. But again, where I believe that Hackenacci is really helpful, the Laguerre triggered short here. And I wasn't going to short that just because it's been so strong, right? But if as you let this go, why would you want to go long here? Why would you want to go long here or here or here? Now we're getting indecisive. So now we're talking, right? Then you get a flat bottom and the Laguerre triggers. Again, nothing's 100%. We wish, but it certainly helps you with your entries, right? Now you're back up to the races, in my opinion, on crude oil. Sentiment's about 50-50 now. So I suspect now traders are going to start, retailer traders are going to start adding to their shorts now, because again, they're picking tops and bottoms, and oil will continue higher. But lots of volatility in oil right now. All right, dollar index. So the dollar index typically tops right around the end of March. You can see now it hasn't been doing a whole lot of anything. It's getting ready for the move down, more than likely. But again, what I'm waiting for is you let it come down, retrace, and then look to enter. As again, you can just see here that we're probably close to a top. Maybe it'll come test at 99.42 level again before it rolls over. Bonds, super weak. Even the weekly is still pretty weak here, although we're starting to get wicks. See all these wicks? And so I'm just excited that we know there's going to be a really good long play coming on bonds. And so once we get the turnaround and we start getting a higher lows, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. What is a good product to trade the dollar index? Because I trade, as you know, I trade the futures, but let me think about that. I have something, I just can't remember where I have it right now. I'll grab it for you though. Trying to think about that. All right, so let's look at gold now. I love gold to come back and test this. Right, so what are we waiting on right here? Mr. Laguerre and green Hackenacci, then we're back off to the races, right? Just like here. So again, remember, if you enter based on the rules, your exit is a red dot right here, which was right here. So you see how you're grabbing about 80% of the entire move? You just didn't know how much that entire move would be. And if this continues down, I won't get triggers, right? So again, yeah, I'd love to be long gold. Again here, I'm just waiting. I'm actually long copper, which is the HG. Okay, again, I had a trigger here, a combo long on copper. And right now, once I get up to maybe the 480 level, I'll probably move my stop to break even. It's a pretty good move in copper, but ultimately I want to get up to this profit target one of 490 on the HG. All right, Apple, it is on its move, isn't it? Who's surprised, right? So again, we had a nice trigger back here. As you're getting all these flat bottoms, right? There's no reason to exit this trade yet, folks. Got a couple texts on a great Apple trade. They took a look at the weekly here, green Hackenacci on the weekly. And there's no reason at all. Remember, when you have the February falls, the reason why I get so excited on that, folks, is because one, I'm usually making money on the short side, but two, think of all these great stocks. There's nothing wrong with it, okay? You just need to know that that's normal for stocks to fall in February, part of March, and then you can get them at discounts, right? How beautiful is that? So you can see here that there's no reason to exit this yet. Again, if you missed the initial, you know, all you need to do is go to that 4-hour chart. Right, you had one at 9 o'clock Tuesday, a new entry. That was a pretty good one there too. So you can get in and out of these during these strong moves. Right, just like Tesla, right? We've been talking about that for weeks. What a great opportunity is coming on Tesla, right? And look at that, wham. That's a great opportunity there on Tesla. Look at that seasonal play on Tesla, okay? Facebook has a nice 5-year, but I want to wait for it to prove itself back to the upside because it's not been following its pattern, right? So let it come up, retrace, and then head higher. That'll be your new entry. Bitcoin. I think once it breaks that 46,000 level, look out. Again, ways to trade that would be Mira or Riot. There's others now too. It's becoming very popular, right? But we had a nice trigger there on Mira with a good seasonal 5-year. Or Riot, same thing, right? Same thing. That's a nice move, right? From 14 to 20. When it's this cheap, and I know many folks that just said I'm buying the outright stock because I can hold it, you know. And you know, when this thing goes back up at some point to these highs, 46, and then eventually to 60, you can hold on to it and not worry about time decay. That's a really good return, right? That's how the fall in December and January typically on the blockchains and so forth, right? Just be patient. You're getting in some really good opportunities. I mean, even if you bought the stock at the trigger long here at the end of January, right? Yeah, I went up then back, but you're already up again, and you don't worry about time decay at all. So when you have some really low price stocks now, you know, don't just look at options, look at buying them. Palladium, same thing, right? Just very careful on palladium, but good long. A lot of the metals, right? Very bullish on the metals right now. Seasonally and politically. NVIDIA is another great one, right? I mean, look at this triple bottom. NVIDIA will hit new highs by summer, more than likely, if not sooner. It's amazing how fast they can go up once they get going, right? It's like Amazon. AMD is getting ready to go. One of my favorites, Berkshire, always seems to be going. So again, any sort of retracement on Berkshire I like. Very good run company. About Netflix. Been super bearish, but interesting enough, look at this. If it closes this week, it'll be the first green weekly Hakanachi candle ever since, well, the first one this year, right? So what does that tell you? Are we getting close to finally getting a nice long play on Netflix? Yeah, possibly. I'd want to wait until after earnings here. More than likely, or do a strategy that you can take advantage of earnings with a good risk reward. But been patient on Netflix, right? Haven't even looked at taking it yet, not even tempted yet. And that's gonna give us huge rewards here back up to 700. Any questions on that? Okay. Just seeing if I missed anything of my overall analysis there. I don't think so. All right, so what are some I've been looking at? So again, just always focusing on my data mining package for real high probability moves, right? Let's just go through some of them again. All right, so I'm long DGX. All right, this has a 100% win rate from March 3rd to the end of April. And I had a beautiful trigger here on February 28th, right? So now I've taken partial off. And just gonna hold on until I get a red dot, and I can always try to re-enter as well, okay? But again, high probability move there, and we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Solis is coming up, right? 16 out of 16 years between the 25th of March and the end of April. So it looks like we got a weekly green brewing here. Good seasonality, a recent low. Again, I like Solis Corp to go higher. I'm currently long, just got a real small play on MasterCard. And typically right around the end of this month until May. So basically it's an April bull play. And I went in here because of the trigger. If it happens to come back now and I get out of this trade, I'll look to re-enter. Okay, but small losses, bigger wins is what I'm looking for here. I love MasterCard to the upside. IEX. Not sure how I got wheat out of that. IEX. Very, very bullish play coming up here from March 11th to May 12th. So again, 30 out of 32 years, it's gone higher. March 11th, which is right here. To May 12th. So basically, till the end of the screen, we should see a big picture go higher. Right, it has 30 out of 32 years anyway. Now we've got the green weekly Hakanachi with the seasonal. Just waiting on a new trigger, Again, you can even go to a 4-hour at this point if you want to. Or enter on the next green Hakanachi. Probably the trade of the month coming up, I'm going to publicly put on YouTube to let you all know. We've got some time yet, but CNP, it's already been in a nice bull market, but the next quarter is typically really bullish. So I'm waiting on retracements for CNP and then look for that long play. So again, good way of doing that if you just like the stock, wait for the next trigger on the 4-hour. We had one at Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Now I'm waiting for a new one. A lot of the oil stocks have good seasonals right now and as well. So it's just a timing thing, right? Hess is another good one, but you know, I'm not going in at highs. I need retracements, but this is a good trigger right here. So again, I think big picture, I think the market's going higher. I'm not believing today's down move at this point anyway. In the Dow, that could change by the end of the day. You know, the range is wide right now, right? We got some volatility. Overall volatility has been coming down. Today's a little bit higher, but nothing crazy. And the market should continue higher. Is there anything anybody wants me to look at symbol wise? I wanted to keep a few minutes to answer any questions today. Again, I think seasonality is a beautiful thing. It's been following us patterns on the market very, very well. And remember, this is a business. Trading is a business, so don't get caught up too much in the overall news. Follow the rules. You know, the charts don't lie. A lot of folks are surprised we were headed higher the last week with Russia and Ukraine and oil and inflation. But everything was pointing in that direction. You know, looking at the sentiment, looking at the seasonal, the Hakanachi, everything was in alignment for that to happen. We just don't know how far it's going to go, right? Is this the top? I mean, you got four wicks now. It looks like if it closes like this today, again, right? You can blink, come back, and it can change in a heartbeat. But this could be a short-term top, retrace, and then head higher. We don't know, or test the bottom one more time and then head higher. But you know, this long should have not been surprising to any of you that have been following me, just based off of the overall data, right? That's how professionals make money, by looking at this data. Hey, Daryl. All right, Matt. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Did you take that, Daryl? Daryl probably took that right there. Yeah, I would definitely be staying in that trade. Good seasonal move. Good one. AXP, same thing. We had a nice trigger here. Great seasonal move. So, you know, I love it. Earl, I got your text today. Fantastic. I love when I see everyone following rules, because yeah, they're not always going to work out, but you're giving yourself much better odds. So as long as your risk and reward, as long as you're managing that well, you should be making money. Okay. If you're not, you're not managing your risk well. Pretty soon I'm going to throw in another strategy for all of you to take a look at. You know, I'd like to keep things simple, but I do think there's another opportunity for you to make some good money with another strategy. When I say that, it all deals with my same system, just a different option strategy. Okay. Yeah, Neo. So again, I would wait for the weekly to turn around here. Square. Look at that, beautiful. So if you, again, that's another good opportunity to the long side on Square. See how you skip the first trigger, it retraced, it didn't hit a high, it didn't get a lower low, right? It had a higher low. So then you, by rule, can take this trade. Also, I didn't take this, by the way, but because I just didn't focus on it. But what I also like about this is if you entered at the open of this candle, then your risk could be right below here. So small risk with a potential huge reward, right? We don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Again, as long as Mr. H.A. Hakanachi continues to stay green for it, you could stay in that trade. I mean, look at that beautiful seasonal. Okay. Hi, Jason. Hope you're doing well. AMD, yeah. So seems like it's kind of following the markets precisely here. Couple ways to enter here if you're looking for long plays. I do like the weekly Hakanachi now is turning green with a flat bottom at this point, but you know, yeah. So you can also wait or look for a 4-hour trigger. And I really like those 4-hour triggers. We had one back here. I would be waiting for another one. It looks like, and with the 4-hour, I do prefer the Laguerre line to come all the way back down versus just a curve here. It'd be more riskier anyway, and it'll happen. It'll happen, or just wait for the daily. Either way is fine. You know, if you wait for the daily, once you get a flat bottom like you did here, for example, that could be an enter point as well. But the most conservative is wait for that Laguerre line, like right here, right? The Laguerre line with a flat bottom. Okay, that's a really good opportunity. Okay, good question. Sunrun Incorporated, same thing. It looks a lot like what we just looked at. So yep, same thing here. We had the red back to the green dots. Looks good. Looks good. All right. So again, what am I expecting? I'm expecting the markets higher. I'm expecting metals higher, commodities higher, but with that, there's going to be potential volatility. So, you know, you have to be careful with your risk reward ratios, and make sure when you're right from a standpoint of don't just get out because you made a little bit, follow the rules to maximize profits. And then when you're wrong, how do I get out? So again, the best way to get out is, once you get triggers, if it doesn't work out, like this trigger here on gold in February, let's say 2 bars later, it turns and closes with a red dot. Okay, small loss, just get out, because you don't know at the time if that's going to end up coming way down. So get out and then just wait for the new entry. Small loss, small win, small loss, small win, big win. That's how you grow accounts. Okay. Yeah, and there, in the no question, John, and there's no question as well that just in general too, there's a lot of range right now, and again, when I look at the computer at the end of the day, nothing would surprise me whether we close higher today still. Can easily happen, right? Or we could, have a little bit of a sell-off before we head higher. So you're absolutely right. It's one of those situations where we have a lot of movement right now, but the overall bias for me is to the upside. All right, folks. Well, in a couple of weeks, what I'll do is I'm going to try to go over a little bit of a new strategy with everybody and just give you some ideas, and then we'll go from there. But have a great couple of weeks, and as always, reach out if you have any questions. Good luck, everyone. Take care.